We're on hole 12 of our north course. We figured it'd be a perfect time to come out here. The wind's blowing about 20 to 30 miles an hour. So we're going to kind of go out there and show you all the different setups and ways that we hit shots straight into the wind to kind of maximize not only the distance, but make sure you're hitting it accurate still, and make sure you hit the fairways, even on windy days like today. I'm going to tee that ball really, really low. So that's kind of way lower than what I'm used to hitting it. That's going to be because I'm going to make sure I hit it in the center of the club face. It's going to allow me not to hit anywhere high on the club face right here. The higher you hit on the club face, the more that ball is going to float up in the air. So we're going to try to keep it as low as possible and ideally kind of try to get this ball to roll as far as possible as well. On setup wise, I still set up pretty normal with the driver. I might put it slightly more back in my stance, but it's still going to be pretty close to my normal driver setup. The only thing I'm going to do with my weight, I'm going to put most of my weight kind of on my front foot. Now I don't want you to be too far on your front foot where you can't swing, but about 65% to 35% or 60%, 40%. That's where I want kind of the weight to feel like. And then we're going to keep that weight on that front foot throughout the entire swing as well. That way we're making sure it goes low. If you go back like this, you re-loft the club, and we don't want that. So we want to keep it super low. The last thing I'm going to do during this shot, I'm still going to take a full backswing, but I'm going to try to stop my swing a little bit quicker, kind of creating a punch shot, and then making sure it kind of rolls on the ground for the longest possible time. Ideally, taking out all the wind. It still might not go as far because it's into the wind, but you'll kind of maximize your distance that way, and then you'll maximize your accuracy by keeping that ball low where the wind doesn't have time to move that ball anywhere. So we're gonna give it a try now. Let's see what we got. Not bad. My ball luckily ended up in the fairway. We got about 171 yards, and the wind is pretty strong day, about 30 mile an hour winds. I'm gonna add at least 20 yards to this golf shot. So rather than just playing at 171 and swinging harder, I'm gonna play at about 190. So I'm gonna be taking a 5 iron where normally I'd be taking a 7 iron. So it's about a 2 club wind to me, and then it allows me to kind of swing a little bit easier. Now with the setup and everything, you're going to see that it's pretty similar to the driver, especially on the weight transfer. So when I set up to this ball, I'm going to put it slightly more in the back of my stance, just like I kind of did with the driver. This one can be a little bit more because I want it when I'm swinging, I want to be coming down right on this golf ball. And then that way everything's kind of, you see my hands are forward pressed. Everything's kind of promoting this ball to stay really low, because if this floats still, even though I'm playing at 20 yards, it's still going to end up short because it's really going to catch in that wind. The ball's almost going to look like it's coming back. Now, with the weight and everything, I'm going to do it just like the driver. I'm going to put about 65, 35, or 60%, 40%, and then I'm going to keep that weight there. That's a big thing to remember. You got to keep that weight there to keep that ball low. So don't transfer that weight back. Make sure everything stays on that front foot. And the last part of what I'm going to do, I'm gonna almost treat this just like a punch shot. I'm gonna do a full swing, but then again, I'm gonna try to stop. I'm gonna try to stop that swing as early as I possibly can, keeping that ball low. Not bad. Okay, guys, you can see this is where I ended up right here. I was a little bit left of the pin, and the reason is I'm kind of favoring either the middle or the left side of this green, and I'm going to explain why. You see how short-sighted you get on this right side? So if you were to miss, if you were to aim right at this pin, especially when the wind's kind of blowing to the right like it is today, then if you miss that way, you're going to be short-sighted. You don't have a lot of green to work with. You got to kind of combat that hill right there. It's not going to play in your favor. So especially when you have a lot of green to work with on one side of the green, you might as well aim at the middle. If you hit it right where you want, then perfect. You have a great chance at birdie. If not, you still have a decent chance for birdie, but you eliminate the possibilities of bogeying or double. But with 20 to 30 mile an hour winds and gusts up to 40 miles an hour, you do have to pay attention to this. This green is also a little bit more elevated, and there's only one little small tree to block any of the wind. That means when this wind comes through, it's going to have more power than other places on the course. You can almost see the ball at some points when it gusts, it will tend to kind of oscillate and it will tend to move. So you're kind of going to play it. So if this wind is blowing from left to right on my angle of the pin right here, I don't want to add too much because you don't want to give it too much power, but you want to go a little bit to the left, about play it about like an inch or two more to the left because that wind's blowing from left to right. So just kind of adding a little bit more, just like you would for grain on the green. Just kind of play it a little bit more break because of the wind. Now I'm going to show you what a good miss looks like. So as you can see, I missed it on the left of the green right here. And the reason I did that, I have a lot more green to work with than on the other side. So this just is a more appealing shot to the eye. It's just an easier shot to hit. And I don't have as much hills to work with as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of show you exactly how I would attack this shot. And I'll kind of go over how you can hit a good shot every time, the form and everything. So first, this green is a little bit more elevated. So that means that ball is going to roll out a little bit more than normal. Not to mention, you can see that the lie, it's a little bit sunken down and in the rough. So that means it's also going to roll out more. So I'm planning to kind of land this about a third of the way there or almost half of the way there. And then I know it's going to probably roll out most of the way to the pin. Now you can see the slope is going left to right. So I'm going to play that a little bit to the left, almost like I would kind of a putt as well. There's also some more shiny grass around the pin. About when you get about 8 feet away, you'll see some shinier grass. What that means is that the grass is going to be the roll is going to be a lot more quicker because you're with the grain. So anytime you're with the grain, you see shiny grass, it's going to be a little bit faster. So we're going to try to put all those things together and then see how it works. When I set up to this chip shot, and I'm going to go through these real quick, but you put the ball in the back of your stance. You make sure your shirt buttons and hands are just slightly forward of the ball. Then what you're going to do, you're going to make sure you do the three things, the three most important parts of chipping. For one, you're going to make sure you speed up through the shot. You're going to make sure you hit the ground. And then what a lot of people don't do, make sure you get your body through. I want your chest and hips facing the target after you're done with the shot. That doesn't mean your hands can go too much. You want your hands to kind of stop like a pendulum. If you take it back here, you go to here, but that body never stops. It gets right towards that target. That way, if you hit the ground doesn't stop it. So now we're going to try to put all of that together. We're going to aim a little bit left, land this halfway, and then we're going to do all of those steps right. Let's see how it turns out. Not bad. Y'all can see that I left the ball. For one, I hit a lot better shot than I thought I was gonna hit. I kind of left the ball to the left of the pin. That's just because I was favoring that hill. The hill didn't take it quite as much, but if I can hit a shot like that, I think anybody would be happy with that. So hopefully now you know how to make a good miss. Drop in the comments what hole you would like me to miss on next.